everyone, and welcome to
The Movie House.
Today we're going to talk to you about a movie from 1977 called Saturday Night Fever, starring John Travolta. What did you think?
Well, what I think is I actually saw this. The only time I watched is when it came out in the movie theaters. I was about 14 years old and in 8th grade. So I had no business whatsoever being at this, I'm sure, rated R movie, probably 17 and older. I'm sure I got snuck in with older people, but that's when I saw it. And I remember, of course, the music. That was the big thing. And the dancing. And I still remember in 8th grade, we had a talent show, and this couple, a boy and a girl who were dating, one of their moms actually made them the John Travolta suit with the white suit with the black shirt, and they actually performed during the talent show one of those, the dance that he does in the movie. So I had not seen it since I was 14. So 50 some years later, which is wow, that's wild to think that this is almost a 50-year-old movie. But I saw it again and I really liked it. It's not something I'd probably watch over and over again, but as I was sharing with you the other morning, I couldn't stop thinking about how it was done. And it was just these little snapshots of this guy's life, and it really it tells you a lot of his life and who he is and where he's been and where he wants to go, and it's not in a very obvious way.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I'd never seen the movie. I tried to watch it once years ago, and I couldn't get through it, so I turned it off. So this is the first time I actually watched the whole thing from start to finish. Overall, I didn't care for it. And it might be partly a factor of the distance in time from when it first came out, because I've seen clips of this movie for practically the last 50 years, over and over and over again. It's so famous, him walking down the street, all the dance moves and all that kind of stuff. So a lot of it seemed old to me because I've seen it before, but I'd never seen the story behind it. I didn't know the context of what these scenes, how these scenes worked in with the story. And overall, I thought John Travolta was very good in the role, and a lot of the other actors were very good in the role. But it's a very 70s sort of downer story from my perspective, which again fit with the times. But for a first-time experience, it wasn't very enjoyable, and it was art. It was a lot of language.
Yeah, I mean, I don't remember any of that.
Yeah, and a lot of uncomfortable, let's say not a lot, but at least a couple very uncomfortable scenes, depictions of events that were very uncomfortable for me to sit through. So that kind of took away from my ability to enjoy the overall story. As we talked about it later, and you were kind of ruminating on it, I could see what you were talking about, and you can pull those threads out certainly when you analyze it and appreciate it. But I did not enjoy overall the story, and again the dancing, which it's of course famous for, reignited the whole disco craze, which I remember. Again, 50 years hence, while still pretty good and impressive in a lot of ways, is not as impressive athletically as what you might see today. If they were going to make this movie today, the gymnastical sort of things people can do today,
right?
Make these dance sequences sort of pale.
Right.
Does that make sense?
Yes, but I think that's what's so interesting about it is what you talk about the dancing. That's almost choreography in some of these movies, or some of the people who go and dance. It's choreography. It's a sport. This is just people going out having a good time,
right? And
enjoy dancing. So I think that's the big difference, and that's what's fun about it. is because, spoiler alert, if you haven't seen it, like he hadn't seen it, and it's been a long, long time since I've seen it, when they do the big dance contest. And, he's like, yeah, we did okay, but look at them.
Well, yeah.
Right? I thought that was really good because, again, it wasn't, you could see just the joy the people were having just to dance. It wasn't, did we get the right moves in? They're not doing it to perform. They're doing it out of enjoyment. So I think that makes a big difference. If it was redone today, it'd be a dance competition, a reality show. It wouldn't be just a bunch of late age teenagers going to the club, as he says, escaping from our dull, boring day-to-day lives out of high school. This is where we can just cut loose and have fun.
Well, and maybe I shouldn't compare because I don't watch Dance with the Stars or any of that stuff, so I can't compare it to anything recent in the dance genre. But I'm thinking about like Olympic gymnasts.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
50 years ago, what they can do now compared to even Olga Korbut and Nadia Comaneci,
right,
who were just astounding in their day.
Right.
And so, and a lot of the stunt work that you see in action movies today, that was just far and above what they could do in the 70s. So I'm just surmising that if they did a dance movie today, like Saturday Night Fever, that the dancing would be so far beyond this. Even though they're depicting kids supposedly having fun, it would be, I'm sure the people in this movie are professional dancers.
Right.
John Travolta is a really good dancer.
Right.
But they didn't have the technique that has been developed in the last 50 years.
Right. But I still think it would be a totally different movie. I think it would show as a very different movie, and again, it would be too precise. It'd be a sport. It wouldn't be natural. It wouldn't be organic. It wouldn't just be, hey, we're out here having fun. It's like, no,
I see what you're saying.
It's like Destiny's Child, right? Her dad made them go over the moves over and over and over and over in the garage. I think that's what a Saturday Night Fever today would be like. It wouldn't just be some people are really good, some people are mediocre, some people are fantastic. I think it would be too orchestrated and choreographed. It wouldn't seem natural.
Well, that would be on the director and the choreographer to make that happen, that it looks realistic. Like you have, since the 30s, right? You have musicals where people sing and dance, and it's highly choreographed,
right,
and highly professional, and they look fantastic. But in the story, they're just regular Joes, but you go with it. It's suspension of disbelief,
right.
And so I don't know. It'd be, I guess, an artistic choice on their part to say whether we're going to have these people look like and act like professional dancers who happen to be street kids,
right,
or have professional dancers sort of
toned down,
not do what they could actually do, or to the extent that they could do it, so it looks more like street kids who are just really good. So again, that'd be up to them to decide that.
Right.
So I don't know if that's a foregone conclusion that that's how it would be.
Yeah. Well, I just think it would be probably a very different movie that they would do. I think it would. I personally, that's what I think.
Okay. But overall, yeah, it's a story that's, again, very rooted in the 70s, where you've got he's 19 years old. He's trying to decide what he wants to do, who he wants to be, and he's got these gang of guys he hangs out with, and girls that he dances with at the clubs, and they all have their own agendas and ideas about life and things, and that's what the interesting thing is, his struggle to decide once and for all what direction is he going to go in, which I thought was very relatable to anybody.
Yes.
Like he works in the paint store. Does he want to work in the paint store for the next 10 or 15 years? Or does he want to do something else? Does he want to dance for a living, or is it just something he does for fun?
Right.
Does he what is, yeah, what, because again, that's the problem with 19-year-old faces, right? Is the whole world is open to you. You can go in a million different directions, and you don't know which one to go.
Right. And it's like you said, it's everything people deal with, the home life. You get, like I said, everything's a little snapshot. You don't get the full story. it's just glimpses. It's a snapshot of this day, this scene, you know, and you have to figure out this is what his life is like from these little snapshots. But I liked it. I liked how they show home life. They show work life. They show friend life. They show alone, everything. And again, the movie's how long?
It's 2 hours. A little
It's
over
2 hours. But I thought it really did a good job of really sharing who this guy is.
Yeah.
You know, it wasn't like by the end of the movie, I'm going, I just don't, where's he coming from?
Yeah.
Because some movies are like that. And I thought they did a really good job because the style and everything is very different from movies at that time too. Like this, like you said, this is a big musical in a sense, except nobody's singing. They're just listening to music and dancing. But that was pretty different. This started off really, the Bee Gees had been around for a long time. Really, they started in the 60s. And them and Robert Stigwood, this really exploded with the movie musical, like Jesus Christ Superstar and Fame and Grease, things of that nature. This really started, and it churned out
Xanadu.
Right. Yeah, which that's not really in the same rank as Grease or Saturday Night Fever, because really, like you said, the story, but the idea of the music, the dancing, it really, and as you said, disco may have been dead, but it just got reignited and was huge. I know it was huge in Ohio after this movie came out. It was huge. So, but I think I think it holds up. I think it was done well. The style's good. The acting's good. The story, again, is snapshots. You don't get really the whole background, but you can figure it out for yourself, which is great. I personally really didn't like the lead female. I didn't really like her character, or I like the other girl better. But that's me.
There's a lot of unlikable characters in this movie.
Yeah,
which I think is very real life, because a lot of people are jerks, and or you don't know what their real agenda is. Why are they your friend, or why are they hanging out with you, or whatever? Yeah,
and some of it's heartbreaking because we've all been that friend who, don't make promises you're not going to keep. We've all been there, unfortunately. But yeah, so I thought it was. I think it's a good movie. I think it's good to. Would I watch it over and over again? No. Is it going to be in my collection? No. But it was a interesting blast from the past. Like I said, I was very young when I saw this movie, and I hadn't seen it since it came out. So while we were watching it, I was remembering. I was like, oh, yeah, now I remember what's going to happen. Ooh, okay.
Well, yeah, and reportedly it was Gene Siskel's favorite movie. He watched it 17 times. But, and again, maybe I'm just a victim of time, having seen it so many years later, finally. I just... again, and having seen clips of it, and parodies of it, and sketches that play off of it forever. When I actually got to see the movie, it was just kind of like, okay, it was a lot of really excellent elements to it. But overall, I didn't like the tone. I didn't like some of the stuff that happened in it.
Yes,
and if it was just more dancing, that might have been better for me, but that's just me.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
Well, that's it for us. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you next time.
Bye.